You're listening to the Hall of Fame on ESPN 97.5.
And on ESPN975.com.
Live from the ESPN 97.5 studios, here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Hey, welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Yeah, man, you hear the music, man. You hear the music. Let's get it done. Let's get it started. I told you guys I had a special guest stepping inside the Hall of Fame, former WWE superstar, former heavyweight champion, now Bellator MMA fighter. Let's give it up. Brad, let's do it. Can we do it together? We the people! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hall of Fame, Jake Hager. What's up, man?
Goosebumps, tears in my eyes. Thank you for that awesome introduction.
Oh, man, that was improv, too. I put my hand over my heart, and I was wondering if Brad was going to pick up on me.
I got you.
He went right with me, but definitely, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, talk about a good way to get rock hard with emotion is just, go with the improv and let it flow. It feels great.
Yeah, that's what Brad and I do, man.
I'm doing great, Book, man. Thank you for having me on.
No, man, that's awesome, man. Me and Brad, we always improv it, man. We just go with it, man. We feel it. And I definitely want to thank you, first and foremost, for stepping in, man, and giving me some time, man. I know you've been busy out there, making your rounds. I don't know what it's like to be a MMA fighter or anything like that, but I know it's got to be different. I tell Brad all the time, I think the guy, the man, the woman that walks inside the cage, they're different than, most people walking on this planet. Because most people, it's only a handful. It's only a chosen few as far as people walking on this planet get a chance to experience that as a job, let alone a lifestyle. And we're going to get to that. But I want to talk to you about how you got started in wrestling a little bit. Not as far as how you got started in wrestling. I know you was kind of recruited by JR. I know you played, some football. I know you wrestled, in your younger days, but I ain't got a whole lot of time, and I know, like I said, I know you're busy. But how true is it that JR is the person that was instrumental in you getting in the company and all that stuff?
50% true, Book. I'll get right to the point.
Yeah, beautiful.
Him and Jerry Briscoe both deserve credit. I met them both my sophomore year in college, and they both deserve 100% of the credit for getting you there.
Is that something that you wanted to do? I mean, professional wrestling?
I was a big wrestling fan through the Monday Night Wars, but I've been a big wrestling fan throughout my whole life. Any form I can get my hands on it. So it was never off the table with me. I met them my sophomore year of college, and, I was wrestling at the time and, caught up with the college co-eds amongst other things. So
yeah, right.
I got away from it. Excuse me, I got away from it for a little bit, but it was a great opportunity for a young entrepreneur, someone who was hungry ready to go out in the world and see the world. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I was just wondering, because I didn't play sports or anything like that when I was coming. I didn't wrestle. I didn't play any sports or anything like that. But I was a huge fan. And when I got into professional wrestling, it was something that I gravitated to. It seemed like it was second nature as far as professional wrestling. It seemed like it was deja vu, like I had been there in another life. How did it feel to you?
Man, that's so cool that you just said that, Book, because really, all my life I was told that, I'm so tall, why don't you play basketball? Well, I don't like basketball. I like wrestling. So all my life I was told I should be a basketball player. And then when I finally got into professional wrestling where I need to be tall and I need to have a different physique but still be able to wrestle, dude, it felt like it was meant to be. As cheesy as it sounds, it was so cool to kind of have that realization like, yes, this is what I should be doing. This is what I was meant to be doing.
Professional wrestling, and that's why I wonder. I remember you and I, we had a match back in 2011. It wasn't one of my greatest matches or anything like that. It wasn't one of the matches. I didn't even remember it a whole lot, but I was like, man, I thought I knew I worked Jack. Jake. Let me pull it up and check it out. And I was like, man, when I watch you wrestle, even though you rose to a high place that a lot of guys don't get a chance to experience, being heavyweight champion in this business. And you got there relatively quick. And when I watched you wrestle, it seemed like, let me rephrase that. What did you train at? Who trained you?
So I started in 06, Bill DeMott, 6 months under him, and then I went to
that might have been the problem.
Well, you know what? It was kind of cool though, because when I was under him, I needed that regimen. I needed that 2-a-day regimen because that's all I had ever known. And so to come to train and learn a new thing, I needed to keep it the same way that I had learned in the past, which was 2-a-days and regimen. So it kind of worked out good. I got 6 months of that, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go on now.
well, the thing is, and the reason I say that is because, and this is a shoot, man. This is a shoot. I always wanted to get you under my wing, man. I swear. I always wanted to get you, under my tutelage and, let you sit under the learning tree with me and learn the art of professional wrestling, because I always thought you had, so much talent, man. I always thought you was a natural at actually doing it. But I just, I ain't trying to throw Bill DeMott under the bus or anything like that. So I don't want people, no, seriously, I don't want people to think that or anything like that. But I just wish you would have had some of my thought process when you was doing this stuff, because I believe in Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera. I don't believe in 2-a-days. I don't believe in Hindu squats and burpees. You know what I mean?
Up and over.
No, but I believe if you could act like you could do a Hindu squat good, you could pass the smell test.
You know what? I mean, that's some truth right there.
No, I'm serious, man. So I just wished that you would have gotten that part of the learning process of the business, because I just think you could have excelled so much more in professional wrestling. What was it like, winning the world championship?
Oh, I mean, it's going to go down as one of the greatest moments of my life. I mean, anyone who holds that championship, you're on a list of very few people that have had that such honor, and it's really incredible to say that. No matter what you say about my wrestling career, I was a world heavyweight champion, and you can't take that away from me. Thank you so much for saying that earlier, Book, about wanted to take me under your wing, because I can remember when I was at Deep South under Bill DeMott, I came up to a SmackDown, and you were sitting ringside and commentating on like some of the matches that were going on, and I could just remember being mesmerized not only with the personality that was going on, but also the wrestling technique behind your commentary was just so incredibly on point. It was really cool to be a part of, and I always remember taking that with me even to this day.
No, man. Like I say, man, I just thought you could have. I just thought you could have excelled so much. And I got my own school here, and I got so many students under my wing, and I'm always trying to guide them in the right direction. And I really think that's what the business is missing a lot of these days, as far as young guys like yourself being able to come back through that curtain, and somebody like myself say, hey man, maybe you want to do it this way, maybe try this or try that, and not stepping on anyone's toes or anything like that, because a lot of times the young guys these days they look at us a little bit different, but my thing is, I always want to pass it on. I always want to give it to the next guy so they can utilize it and make some money off of it more than any. What do you think was missing, if anything, from your pro wrestling career?
You know what? I'm not afraid to admit it right now. I think the thing that I was missing most was me being able to stand up for myself backstage. Whether it was storylines or whether it was political BS that we all had to endure. I was a pushover a lot of the times, and I think that's good feel for me now in MMA. I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm pissed off about certain things, and you can't be more mad than at yourself. So I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm really pushing myself and, learning from the experience and not just dwelling on it and blaming others. I was young, I signed with the WWE when I was 24. I was up on the main roster when I was 26. 10 years later, that's a lot of learning, a lot of growth, and it took me a while to realize my value. But I think once I did, we've been taking the steps in the right direction ever since. But you know what, Book? It's cool about this WWE thing right now because it's never off the table.
Yeah,
and pro wrestling has grown so popular right now. It's just awesome. It's like there's no more hiding in the closet and watching it and reading the magazines. It's cool to be a pro wrestler, and that makes it so much better for us as pro wrestlers to go out there and put our bodies on the line and give the fans entertainment that they deserve.
Hey man, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. And if you ever decide to come back, man, come down and work with me, man. Come down and work with me, and let me teach you the fine arts of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Phantom of the Opera. Brad is mimicking me every word that I'm saying because I said this was somebody.
But to bring that up for a second, Jake. Book, you say for him to come back, but I heard you in an interview recently where Ariel Helwani entertained the idea of even going over to AEW and still wanting to work a couple independent dates in between fights. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's summertime now, and so it's a good, always trying to supplement income and provide for the family. So MMA and pro wrestling works well for that. It's going to get real hot here for the indies, and so we'll use one hand to help the other. I got USA Pro June 29, and I got 2 shows in July, 2 shows in August, and then I plan to fight again late September, early October.
I'll tell you what, man, we got to take a quick break, but that's what I want to talk about, man. I want to talk about, the fight game. I'm talking about, throwing hands, man. Here in the city of Houston, we got the Ghetto Boys, man, and they always talking about throwing them Fifth Ward beats on them boys. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely got to talk about the art of combat, the art of pugilism. Here inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We will be back in just a moment. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. And this leads me, this is a great transition right here because this guy, Jack Swagger, now transformed into Jake Hager. It seemed like 2 totally different people. It seemed like 2 totally different guys that I'm seeing, that make the walk to the ring, that get in the ring, that really have swagger. If you feel what I'm saying.
I hear you.
So Jake, talk to me about that, man. Talk to me about you actually being able to be Jake now and the guy that we see on screen, on camera, live and in living color.
Oh man, well, thank you, Book, for giving me the opportunity to talk about this because it is very cool. And one of the toughest things about professional wrestling is looking tough, and not only looking tough, but making people feel a certain way, very negatively about you. And it's not natural, and it's not easy. And sometimes people can, they say play wrestler, and so everybody's can be guilty of it at times. So, like, to me, I've always been Jake Hager. And it was a struggle for me to learn my art, to learn my craft, and to translate that into the professional wrestling world. It always was. I tried to bring moves across that I could, like the double leg slam, and do that in a certain professional wrestling way that translates to the fans. So to be able to come out here and show, the wrestling world, the wrestling universe, I've gotten such great respect and coverage from them. They always watching them stand up for me around fight weeks and are tuning in. It's really humbling to be a part of. But, like, to be able to show them that, like, hey, this is actually who I am. This is what I've been doing since I was 5 years old. I went to Perry High School where when you wrestle, this is what you become. You have no choice. If you're on the team, you learn to wrestle like this, or you're not on the team. And so it's so cool to be able to show them a different side of it and almost play it in a professional wrestling angle, because let's face it, Book, everything these days is professional wrestling. And so it's very fun in that aspect.
I mean, but it seems like you're entertaining, of course. That's something that you got to do, and that's something that you got to have if you want to be one of the guys that's going to get noticed. But, tell me, yes, yay or nay, you now having all the control, you now being in control of who you are when you walk out of the curtain and no one telling you who you should be, does that make a difference?
Absolutely. You can be the toughest guy in the world, but even the biggest dog in the fight can be beaten and told it's not a winner long enough, and then he's going to start to believe it. And that mental game, Book, that is the fight game, and it's incredible for me to see both perspectives now. And looking back of why I left WWE and where I'm at here, it's just it's really nice. But I needed that 12 years with WWE on the road, 200 plus days a year, traveling away from my family, setting this up to get to this moment. So like one hand needs the other.
But I think also that you'll need that going through that experience to come back to make a successful transition back to the WWE and take over the world of professional wrestling all over again, because like you said just a second ago, it's different going out there and being the wrestler and going out there and playing wrestler.
Absolutely, and I look forward to that moment to where I can really translate it on a whole new level.
And that's the stuff that I teach, and would love to work with you about, because I always talk about wrestling as far as it being walking a very, very thin line. It's got to be close to real as possible. And right now you're in no realer situation than one could ever be walking inside the hectagon. Right now you're 2-0 in MMA and Bellator. What is your aspirations? Because we got heavyweights like Fedor, we got Rampage, Mitrione, Czech Congo. It's some players there. What's your route to the heavyweight championship, if that's your aspirations? Yeah,
man, it's amazing. The heavyweight division has really come alive after the Grand Prix. I can't believe Czech Congo wasn't in the Grand Prix, but we're going to see him and Bader square off for the title here very soon. It's very exciting to be a professional fighter, to be a professional wrestler, because my aspirations, if you really want to know, are to have both of those careers help each other right now. It's a very unique time, and I'm in a very unique position, so I really want to maximize the output of both, which me being at the stage I am in my professional fighting, which I will tell you, Book, since, hardly anyone's listening, I'm very green in the professional fighting world, so I need a lot of work. I need 6 days a week at home, training the various jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling. I need that getting it in there, and the strength and conditioning on top of it. And so it's cool for me to be able to finally be home 6 days a week, and my only job, Book, right now is to push myself and go to work every day and push myself and better myself. And I might not always be feeling well. I might be banged up, but that's my job. And when I'm done, I get to go home to my family.
Definitely.
To me, that's so worth it.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
And Jake, I got a question for you. You're 30, I think just turned 37 not too long ago. You're 2-0 in Bellator. Do you wish that you had started, your MMA journey maybe 5-6 years earlier? A lot of times Booker and I talk about, when guys start getting into their 40s. You're not there yet, but you start getting into their 40s. That's when, a lot of people are closing the chapter on MMA, but you're just opening it. Do you wish you kind of started maybe 5 years ago?
You can call it a new career or a midlife crisis, whatever I choose. No, I'm kidding. I got a shiny Corvette in the driveway. So this was a journey in the making for me. I don't think anybody who enters in the cage goes into it lightly. You really have to wrap your head around everything that it's going to entail for you to really do it. And I started training in March of 2017. I didn't sign with Bellator until almost November of 2017, and I'm training that whole time. We're all wrestling fresh out of the WWE, but that whole time I'm getting my ass kicked. Excuse me for saying that, but I'm really questioning, cool. Hey, can I do this?
Yeah.
Can I get back into this competitive shape? And so it took that time for me to really make the decision and go forward with it.
Hey, man, the TJ Jones thing, man. You did hold that arm triangle on a little long. You know what I mean? Do you?
Come on, but you got to wait for the ref, right?
No. I'm just saying. Do you feel more comfortable being the heel? Because me personally, I probably would have held it on a little long too.
Well, Book, to say that the fight accidentally happened at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, where I wrestled many times with an accident, would be a lie. That was planned on purpose because I knew that crowd. I know Chicago. I still got them wrapped around my finger. They're just mad because their quarterback is named Mitchell.
Oh, man.
No, I don't like being the heel at all, but it's so boring.
No, man, it's always best to be the heel, man. King Booker, are you kidding me? No, it's always best to be the heel, man. Hey, man, I'm just glad I got
Biff Tannen to Bellator.
I'm just glad I got you inside the hall, man. I'm just glad I got a chance to sit down with you and talk to you about, what you're doing right now, man. Man, I just want to say congratulations on what you're doing, man. And I'm serious, man. If you ever think about coming back, I'd love for you to come through and just work with, just let me get in your head. We ain't got to do no moves. We definitely won't be doing 2 a days or anything like that. But man, congratulations on everything you do and much success, man, and everything you're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah, we're pulling for you, Jake.
Hey, Book, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I will definitely take you up on that. You got my boy Green Machine, Mike Orlando, in there right now, and so I'd love to come work with you, and let's make it happen.
Hey, man, we're gonna get you down to reality of wrestling sometime. Hey, man, I appreciate it again for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen. That's for my friend Jake Hager.